Under the sun, a U.S. Navy P-8 Poseidon surveillance aircraft cruises at high altitude, its sensors scanning the waters. The mission is routine, patrolling international airspace, monitoring movements, and gathering intelligence. Then, an alert. Something fast. Something closing in. A Chinese J-16 fighter jet streaks through the sky, its engines roaring as it accelerates toward the U.S. aircraft. The Poseidon crew remains calm. This isn't the first time. But then the J-16 veers dangerously close. Too close, just meters away. A split-second miscalculation could mean disaster. This is the new reality over the South China Sea. The skies have become a theater of confrontation, where the world's two most powerful militaries engage in a silent, high-stakes battle of dominance. For decades, the South China Sea has been a flashpoint of geopolitical tension. China claims nearly the entire region as its own, constructing artificial islands, deploying military assets, and enforcing an ever-expanding territorial presence. But the U.S. and its allies reject these claims, asserting freedom of navigation through contested waters and airspace. This ongoing struggle plays out daily, above and below the waves. The U.S. Navy's P-8 Poseidon is more than just an aircraft. It is an intelligence powerhouse, equipped with state-of-the-art surveillance technology, capable of detecting submarines, intercepting communications, and monitoring movements across vast distances. Each mission is carefully planned, each flight meticulously executed, but in these skies nothing is predictable. China views these operations as provocations. To them, every P-8 Poseidon patrol is an intrusion, an unwelcome presence near Chinese-claimed islands and military installations. In response, Beijing sends its own message, launching intercept missions with increasing aggression. There was a time when these encounters were more restrained. Standard protocol dictated a show of force. A Chinese jet escorting a U.S. aircraft at a safe distance. A clear but measured response. But now, those rules are being rewritten. December 20, a U.S. reconnaissance aircraft conducts a mission over international waters. Without warning, a Chinese J-11 fighter jet approaches at alarming speed. The gap closes, 50 feet, 30 feet. The turbulence rattles the Poseidon as the J-11 cuts in front. A near collision. A warning. The U.S. Navy calls it reckless. China calls it necessary. The world watches, knowing that one mistake could ignite a crisis. This isn't without precedent. April 1, EP-3 reconnaissance aircraft is intercepted by a Chinese J-8 fighter jet. The J-8's pilot, determined to challenge the American presence, makes a fatal miscalculation. The two aircraft collide mid-air. The EP-3 spirals out of control, its crew struggling to regain control before executing an emergency landing on China's Hainan Island. The Chinese fighter jet plunges into the sea. Its pilot never returns. A tense diplomatic standoff follows. The U.S. crew is detained. China demands an apology. The world teeters on the edge of escalation. More than 2 decades later, the echoes of that incident still haunt these skies. Yet the encounters have only grown more dangerous. Today, China's military is stronger than ever. The People's Liberation Army Air Force, PLAF, and the People's Liberation Army Navy plan field an arsenal of cutting-edge aircraft, from the J-16 strike fighter to the stealthy J-20, designed to rival America's most advanced jets. With each passing year, their tactics become more aggressive. A P-8 Poseidon on a routine mission suddenly finds itself shadowed by 2 Chinese jets. One positions itself alongside, the other moves below. Classic bracketing maneuver. The U.S. pilot remains steady, maintaining course. Then, without warning, one of the jets cuts directly in front, forcing the Poseidon into turbulence. Each maneuver carries a message. Each moment is a test. Back on the ground, analysts study every interaction. Intelligence teams dissect radar data, communications, and flight patterns. Military officials assess the risks. How far can this go before someone makes a mistake? Before an accident spirals into conflict? These encounters aren't limited to the skies. The South China Sea itself has become a chessboard of military posturing. Chinese warships shadow destroyers conducting freedom of navigation operations. Coast Guard vessels clash in tense standoffs. Fishing boats, often backed by Chinese maritime militias, challenge neighboring countries for control over strategic waters. The stakes couldn't be higher. Beneath the waves lie vast reserves of untapped oil and natural gas. The region is a critical artery for global trade, with trillions of dollars in goods passing through each year. But beyond resources and economics, this is about power, about who controls the most contested waters on Earth. For Washington, maintaining a presence in the South China Sea is about more than just strategic dominance. It's about defending international law, ensuring free passage, and reassuring allies like Japan, the Philippines, and Australia that they are not alone. For Beijing, this is about sovereignty, a belief that these waters, these islands, these skies belong to China. The world watches, tensions rise, the dance continues. The question remains, how close are we to the break? The answer may come in the form of a sudden movement, an unexpected maneuver, a single decision made in the heat of the moment, a moment that could change everything.